Welcome to the Unreasonables, where we can only reason our shitty opinions of each other. My name is Local.
I'm Freethy.
I'm civilized bear.
And I'm GRA.
And our first topic is education, and it will be a shit show. So, I'd like to start us off with how much power.
First of all, I think that we should all know. This one guy is a libertarian. The one guy is a communist. I'm a Nazi. And then we have a who? What are you?
A fucking centrist who has no opinions, free eye.
Yeah, Freethy, come on. Get opinions.
Yeah, I'm a socialist.
Oh my gosh. No.
Anything left of me is socialism. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah. And
You are
everything up of you is authoritarian.
You are a 10-10.
You're a 10.
I'm an 8.510, sorry.
I don't even know what I am. I think I'm like... Last time I took the test, I was maybe 4.
4 up or 4 down? Nazi.
Actually, no. It was 4 to the right, 2 to the libertarian.
That's not possible, you're Nazi.
Guys, let's just... Alright, well, first of all, I feel the need, since you said I'm 3 right and 3 down. But let's get on to education now.
Okay.
Alright, so our first topic is going to be, what power or role does the federal government have in education?
So,
Or should it have?
my thing is, I'm okay with minimum standards. Although I do believe constitutionally, it is a state's right. I think we should cut the DOE and we should cut Common Core. And I'd love to implement school choice, but that's also a state issue, in my opinion. But school choice has proven benefits.
Well, there's a way to implement school choice in the federal level.
How's that?
Constitution. Since we already give parents like 10% of the per student income to the school, like we give that directly to the school per parent or student, we could just give that to the parents instead and be like, hey, use this little bit of money we would have paid to the school, and you can fund the rest of school choice.
Those are just school vouchers.
Yeah, we'd basically use it as a voucher, and we'd keep our budget the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wouldn't drive everyone to private schools because it wouldn't be that much money, but it'd be a decent amount of money per year.
Well, I mean, it obviously wouldn't drive everyone to a private school because people of lower income aren't obviously giving that as much money to the state government, so it would work.
Actually, in our state in Ohio, our state does something unconstitutional. They do not give an equal amount of money per student to public schools. They do it on property taxes, which has actually been struck down 3 times by our state Supreme Court, but nothing's ever happened. So sometimes people in lower income would actually get a lot more money, like 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah, same in New Mexico.
Okay.
So, yeah.
GRA, what are your opinions on education?
School choice, leave it to the state's minimum standards.
Can you explain what type of standards?
It depends what standards we're talking about, because standards like the Common Core do not work.
No, definitely not Common Core.
I'm talking like proficiency. I'm gonna be like, you need to like have taught these types of like math, this type of science by the time they graduate. Doesn't matter when, just by the time they graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every student in America should learn.
Everybody
Basic,
should be
like-
able to read by like grade 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff
Everyone
like that.
should be able to read when they graduate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, I still don't know how to read. So.
Everyone should be proficient in like algebra by this certain grade level, and then just use that
Well, I
for
don't know
every
about
other
that. I
topic.
don't know about how like everybody should be proficient in a specific type of math.
I would say the best thing to do is we should analyze our students. We should see what they're best at doing, and then we should give them the tools that are best for them to go into this type of career, which they would probably be the best at. So we need to gear our students to I'm gonna speak a little Greek to be their telos. Their I don't know
I think
why did I
that
say
we
that.
too heavily push on students that they need to go to college.
Yeah, if someone wants to be a fucking welder, that makes decent money. We should teach them how to weld.
There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with not going to college.
No, there's nothing wrong with not going to college, but going to college,
It helps.
people.
Well,
Yeah,
let's remember
people
what was
call-
in your manifesto, Civilized.
I'm creating a new one. I just realized. I basically realized I'm an idiot.
You realizing that now?
He wrote in his.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut. No, that's okay. You can't actually do that because it's my property. I'll sue you.
All right, never mind. I guess.
I'm just embarrassed.
Let's just say he said some things
that are retarded.
he probably regrettable.
Actually, since you shared it with him, you basically gave consent for him to share it.
Shut up.
Did you tell him previously that he could not share it when you gave him the information? Because that's not contractual then.
Well, when I gave him the manifesto, I just wanted it to be between.
Did you specifically ask him to agree to that?
Yeah.
No,
Like before, when you gave it then vote?
No,
Oh. Well, I could have just gave it to the public then if I wanted you to tell everyone about it.
I don't want to tell everyone about it. I just want to tell about the one sentence.
Since my school kind of sucks, I took some online education for law, not exactly classes, but a lot of Professor Wikipedia. So, Civilized, you basically gave him permission to share it publicly.
Well, I want him to give me his next manifesto, so I'm sorry, I can't.
It's definitely better than whatever that thing was.
The Communist Manifesto?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do have the Soviet flag, mate.
It's because of Sky.
Oh yeah, it was because of Sky.
You can change your own profile picture.
Yeah.
It was a bet.
It was a
What
bet.
was the bet?
Well, I put out a flag and she had to guess what country it was, and she did. So I had to make my
What
flag.
country was it?
I don't know. I didn't even know what it was.
You didn't even know what it was.
I'm actually pretty good at geography, but I still didn't know what it was.
All right, let's get back to education.
All right, so since we left it up to the states, what type of responsibility does the federal government have in monitoring those states?
Moderating?
Monitoring.
Monitoring.
Like, you're saying that the federal government should be monitoring what the states decide to do with education?
I'm saying what responsibility or what powers or how much should they monitor? This is up to you guys. This is a question.
Minimum standards, that's all I'm saying.
But if we ask them to have minimum standards, how can we cut the Department of Education and make sure they're following those standards? Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Wait, but don't you agree with cutting the Department of Education? So
I think we should bring it down to a very minimum level, but I think Free Thigh said he wanted to get rid of it completely.
In your budget, you cut it.
Discretionary spending, my dude, with the $1.4 trillion we have extra. 1 trillion.
So the $1.4 trillion that are supposed to be going.
1 trillion extra in surplus.
we have a $1 trillion surplus.
Civilized.
So the 1.4 trillion we designated to paying off the debt is now going to go towards education.
No, it's the 1 trillion in our surplus. That's discretionary
I
spending,
thought
my
we
dude.
were using that to cut taxes.
We can, but it's also necessary to have some things. I'm not a fucking anarchist.
Well, yeah, you are almost ANCAP.
I'm ironically an ANCAP.
Alright, back to education.
It's kind of sad though, because I've been slowly.
So, should teachers be allowed to have guns in school?
Yes.
Not all of them.
Yes. Not every teacher and not any type of gun.
Well, I say that each teacher should be able to have a gun, but also I don't think anyone who was a felon or a criminal.
I don't think felons can teach, first of all.
A pistol with less than or with like 9 bullets. Like that's what I would.
No, I want my teachers to have grenade launchers to
Understandable.
protect.
I want my teachers to have an Uzi.
Lucy.
Understandable.
I
So,
mean,
I think
They probably
not
do in
every
Detroit.
teacher in the school, like across the country, should have a gun, because that could be pretty bad. That could turn pretty bad pretty quick.
How about we just give them like the Type 3 license background check, which is like for machine guns, and if they pass that, then they're good.
Yeah. I would
Well, I
go with
think
that.
in general to protect from school shooters and such, it's understandable if each classroom was permitted to have a handgun.
Why
Wait
not
a
just... Honestly, like semi-automatic or bolt-action rifles are way more accurate and probably better in a situation like that than a pistol with 9 rounds.
Well,
Duel me in
exactly,
real life.
That goes the exact other way. What if the teacher goes insane and has the accurate
Give students guns.
semi-automatic? Give students.
Students have guns. Seriously, I think everyone should have a gun.
Well, in like in the 70s, when there was a school shooter threat, I forget where this was. Students and teachers took turns with their guns defending the school, like as a patrolman,
Okay,
basically.
But what you're saying is that you're gonna let kids buy guns.
Yes.
And this was guns they had from their parents, basically.
Yeah, I understand that.
They got it from their car.
Yeah,
But nowadays, kids bring guns to school to shoot the school up.
yeah.
It was
Nobody's
a joke,
really
GRA. Jesus.
The school shooting was a
Okay,
joke.
but back to my serious point, which was that you're saying that semi-automatic rifles would be better, but they would also be better to shoot the kids.
Okay.
Well,
I think 9 rounds is a bit too excessive on rounds control, though. I mean, since the NYPD accuracy is about 13%, that's about like one shot that the teacher makes if they have NYPD accuracy, which they won't. So if you actually want the teacher to shoot,
Okay, but NYPD accuracy, they're shooting at people who are on the run. They're shooting in shootouts, right?
but they're also way more trained than the teacher.
I understand, but if it's a school shooter, the only place they can go is pretty much a hallway or a classroom, and they're both pretty small, confined places.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say that, like, a nine pistol, or yeah, what?
Don't schools in your guys' area have like security guards?
We have one.
I believe
It's kind of sick.
I believe my high school does, but not the school I go to.
Because all the middle schools and high schools in my town, they have like 5 security guards each.
Where do you live?
We have one. That's shit.
Where are you, GRI?
Mexico.
Southern New Mexico.
New Mexico.
New Mexico. You had Gary Johnson this year, a governor.
No, he wasn't governor this year. He's a former governor.
Yeah, our governor this year was Susana
He
Martinez.
lost re-election.
Oh,
I don't remember. I think he resigned. Just like he retired.
He was a good governor,
The thing
though.
with Gary Johnson, they are not illegal immigrants. They are undocumented.
Ugh.
Did you vote for Gary Johnson?
I can't vote. I wouldn't have voted for Gary Johnson. He was shit. I also live in Ohio. I live in a swing state too,
Who
so
would you have voted
Wait,
for?
what libertarian did you want?
Austin Peterson.
Oh, really?
I've heard of that.
I watched a libertarian presidential debate, since there actually was one, surprisingly.
There's several, I think.
Several? I only saw the one with Austin Peterson, Gary
But
Johnson.
yeah, I want gay married couples to be able to defend their marijuana farms with machine guns. Favorite politician ever.
Yeah, that's about. That's great.
I mean, yeah.
That's my social policy right there for anyone who didn't know.
Since technically, Lugbut was on one of the topics. I think I'm at liberty to say this. I think that gay rights they should be I honestly don't care if you're gay, but
Well, I think in the first place that we're calling them gay rights isn't really. I mean,
How about we just call them human rights and just give them the same amount of rights as everyone else, but also the right to be discriminated against?
Why do
exactly,
we?
which is why I'm
why
saying
do
it's a
we-
state issue.
Yeah, why do we even call it gay? It's just a human thing.
It's not a state issue. It's a right of an individual or corporation to do as they wish, as long as it harms no one else physically. That's called natural law and the non-aggression principle. Read up your libertarian shit.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm still saying that
I don't know, it's libertarian.
should have been
Nazi.
more of a states' rights issue.
Major discrimination laws are unconstitutional, and I think that there is rights granted to people under the Constitution, and it is illegal for states to not grant state marriage. Also, or gay marriage. Also, why does the government have the power to regulate marriage as long as it's two consenting adults?
I don't know.
There's nothing that gives the government the power to do
I
that.
think the state government has the right to do so, not the federal government.
I don't think any government has the right to do so.
That's granted to the states under the 10th Amendment, but I'd argue that's the 9th Amendment.
So you'd argue that, but the problem with that argument is
Two consenting adults, not an adult and a child.
At the time that they legalized it
Why not?
nationwide, right?
Yes.
A lot of the country was kind of unhappy with it. They didn't want it. It's like
A lot of the country is unhappy with gun rights, but we still want that. It's freedom, my dude.
okay, but
Freedom,
the
I
Ninth
do.
Amendment, you're granting a new right. You're not enforcing an old right. So
Actually, I'm enforcing an old right of marriage.
yes, but
It's an expanded old right.
you're enforcing the old right of marriage to anyone. You can marry whoever you want.
As long as they're two consenting adults.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but the Ninth Amendment argument may not work there because that's for it's for pretty.
Any right not mentioned in the Constitution is not denied to the people.
No, it doesn't say any rights, because then we would have a whole bunch.
Okay,
of
rights not named in the Constitution are not denied to the people. So should we just say that states have the right by the tyranny of the majority to deny gun rights? I mean, who's to say that people don't want people to have guns?
Because
Democracy is still a form of tyranny.
that is a good point. Democracy is still a form of tyranny.
Mhm.
I don't know. I see where you're coming from. I don't care. Like
I don't
if you're
care.
gay or not. But,
Yeah, obviously I don't.
Yeah.
I just believe that people should be treated or granted equal protection under the
You know
law.
what I just can't stand though is when they think they're special. When they have to go out and tell everybody.
Nobody is special.
No one's special.
When they go out and tell everybody about it, and then, they act like they're so oppressed.
I'm
Constantly.
gay.
Yeah, exactly.
They act like they're so brave for coming out of the closet, but
Yeah.
eh.
Exactly.
I'd honestly say the new closet is far right.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Or did I hear something far right? Far right?
The new closet is being a far rightist in honesty.
yeah.
So back on education.
Well, hold up.
Okay.
Back on the Ninth Amendment thing, you said that at two consenting adults have any right to marry. Well, what about healthcare? A lot of people would argue that everyone
I
should
don't-
have access to healthcare, which
It's equal protection under the law. The law was enforced against a certain group of people. Healthcare is not equal protection under the law. It's equal protection from being stupid.
being stupid.
There are only three things you really need to do well in America: have a high school or college education, not get married early, and not have a child early, and a couple other things, according to some study done by a left-wing organization. So obviously, if you can't pay for healthcare, you probably screwed up at some point in your life. Major. Whether that was in high school, if you just didn't do well enough and didn't get a good enough job, not in college.
I don't know about that. We'll be going on about that for days. Let's just go back to education.
But this is a right that was granted to certain types of people, but not all types of people, and it was granted indiscriminately. And also, equal protection under the law. So if a state has a hammer at one group of people, but not another for a certain right granted, is that not unequal protection from the state itself?
Where is equal protection under the law? Are you talking about constitutionally?
Yeah, because as I've said, the state pointed their hammer of oppression at one group of people, but not the other, and will initiate force.
Was segregation unconstitutional?
At this time, yes, because if you want to talk pre Emancipation Proclamation, the 13th Amendment, unconstitutionally, depends. But after the 13th Amendment and 14th Amendment, yes.
So segregation in the like 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s.
It was illegal.
unconstitutional,
Yes.
in your opinion.
If it was government forced, yes. Because many Jim Crow laws were actually government enforced, not business enforced. So if a business were to enforce segregation, no.
So if a restaurant were to enforce segregation, that wouldn't be illegal in your opinion.
Correct.
Okay, I can see where that's coming from. Like public institutions would have to be non-segregated.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, back to education. Since you have apparently absurd views, let's hear some of them, local.
All right. So, like I said, I want the federal government to put their money to the parents, not the schools. Allow the parents to choose. They can use it however they want for education. They can do online, public, private, mix, and cut the funding from the schools that the federal government gives. Just give it to the parents regardless for education, because the parents will know how to better educate their child in continuing education than the school. If a parent wants to give their student special education in some area, give them the funding to pay for it.
Yeah, and teachers' unions strongly oppose.
Oh my gosh, teachers' unions are almost all involuntary and are the scourge upon this planet.
Teachers are forced to pay into them even if they don't join.
Yes. Teachers' unions are a scourge upon the society and should be abolished or way brought down.
They suck up money and then they go to Washington and beg for more money so they can keep paying for public education. I don't know if you.
So they can keep paying for their union jobs, not for public education. They don't give a damn about students.
Well, that's why I was about to bring up is that school attendance has only increased by 5% in recent years. I can't remember specifically the era of time, but teacher employment has gone up 95% in that same
Yeah,
period
and
of time.
the school will have to pay teachers that don't actually teach for their school but have a full-time union job. And they get the union salary.
Yeah, they just sit there all day in an empty classroom doing nothing, and they still get paid as if they're teaching students.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other teachers still have to pay the teachers' unions, even though they're not in the teachers' unions.
Yeah, also, teachers unions protect shitty teachers. It's a known fact. In my school, there are many science teachers that should have been fired long ago, but due to teachers unions and tenure laws, they have not. But when a Christian teacher was helping a depressed or self-diagnosed depression, and he gave her a Bible quote. Want to know what she called that?
What?
She called that sexual harassment.
What?
Whoa, okay.
What?
All right.
What?
This is
How?
liberal America.
And so
I hate
he was
liberals.
suspended for like a week and a half, and the teachers union did absolutely shit to protect him.
What?
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
the oppression just
Jesus
keeps getting
Christ.
stronger and stronger.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
So teachers unions protect the shitty teachers, but not the good teachers. But yeah, liberal America guys, fuck you if you believe in what the school did.
Yeah, free
Telling
speech
someone-
as long as you agree with me.
I said fuck you if you believe in what the school says.
Phew.
And there was like some quote about just like being okay because God is like with you or something. Like you don't no need to like fret or worry or be sad. It was like let the spirit of Jesus enter your body or some shit.
Ooh.
If that was the quote, maybe I could see that as harassment.
Let Jesus enter your body.
How would he enter your body?
Through the butthole.
Exactly, making it sexual harassment.
So you see, teachers unions are an involuntary group.
Yeah, they're
Also-
a cancer.
They pay money to politicians without teachers' consent.
Yeah, they're a cancer. For sure.
I honestly think all public sector unions should be abolished or severely reformed.
Yeah, I agree to that. And I know someone in Illinois, and this is a good point on education too that I'll bring up in a second, as long as I remember Illinois. Who says he gets paid like ridiculous amounts of money, and then he also gets paid that same amount of money for his pension, and he works in a union.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with having teacher pensions paid by the state and all that. They've done their public service.
So,
But I don't think that they should pay for any union members. That should be left to the union to pay for.
in Illinois, I don't know if you know this, but they put in the state constitution that they were going to have teachers' pensions compound by 3% every year. So every year, the teachers' pensions after you retire goes up by 3%. So if your pension is say like $50,000 or whatever, then
Do they want to go bankrupt?
What?
Do they want to go bankrupt?
No, that's exactly what happened. That's a part of the reason.
So,
Illinois.
guys, real quick, hot topic. The suspect in Virginia was a Bernie Sanders supporter.
Oh, okay, good.
Classic.
Not actually good, but I mean, good. It's not sort of. Who knows?
So, anyways, what I was saying is they did go bankrupt. Taxes there are really high now. They can't afford it, but they can't afford to stop it because they promised the teachers the pensions.
If
So
they
now
cut
they
those
can't pay them.
pensions, there'll be riots. So they basically put themselves in a hole that
They
they
did.
can't get out of.
Exactly. So every year
And
it
all
ends
that's gonna do. Also, more people are going to voluntarily become teachers. So it's just going to
Yeah.
expand.
Illinois is the best
every
place in
year.
the country to become a teacher because you get paid.
Yeah.
You get paid a lot, and you get pensions that make the state go bankrupt.
Now they'll just raise taxes, I guess, if they want to get their money back.
They can't. They've tried to raise taxes. They already have a pretty big income tax.
Oh, what's the highest rate?
The highest rate? What do you mean? The highest income tax? Here, I'll Google
Yes.
it.
Let's just keep raising the income tax to pay for federal programs that don't work, guys. Or state programs that don't work.
Let's give you money and then take it to give it to you.
Illinois income tax, it's 5%.
What? Wow.
It's actually not bad for a state.
Wait, let me look up what it is in Georgia.
And they had a governor named Pat Quinn, who was a Democrat, and he was pretty bad. And now they elected a Republican named Ronner, and he can't get anything done.
That makes sense.
Well, when you keep putting shit in the state constitution, yeah, maybe shit can't be done.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense because it raises by 3% every year. That's ridiculous.
Why would somebody even put that in the state constitution?
Teachers' unions are a scourge upon society, that's why.
Yeah. So what do you think about teachers' pensions in general?
It's fine as long as it's not too large like that. They've done their public service and got paid a sometimes shitty wage for a lot of work. And also, teachers a lot of times have to pay for their supplies out of pocket, so yes, we should support them more.
Yeah, I would agree with the pension that doesn't compound by 3% every year or increase by 3% every year. But yeah, you're right. That teachers get paid pretty little. Partly because of standard issues.
I could see tying their pension to inflation. But I don't see tying it to 3% annually.
Yeah, tying it to inflation. That makes sense.
Whoa. Okay, so I just looked it up. The highest income tax rate at the state level in Georgia is 6%.
Well, isn't the highest
Iowa has like 11 or 12.
where-
Iowa has like 11 or 12.
California is the highest.
No, it's not.
13.3. So
Where are you getting this shit from?
I don't know. I just did a Google search. It's probably wrong.
33%.
13.3%.
Oh yeah, no, it is 13%.
Where'd you get this from? Like Breitbart? Like,
No, it's 13%.
They might have added an extra 0.3. Who knows?
I'm looking this shit up.
Oh, California state income tax.
Base sales tax rate of 7.5%. Top marginal income tax rate of 13.3% is the highest state income tax rate in the country.
Shit, you're right.
And it wasn't even from Breitbart.
It's from, I don't know, shit. So whose mic is doing that? So let's do it, cut that shit.
What?
There's just a lot of extra noise coming from your mic.
I don't know what it is. So
I think it might be your keyboard and your breathing.
Your mic until you want to talk.
Yeah, do push to talk.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so what's the appropriate... This is kind of out of left field, but it's today's topic. What is the appropriate response to the shooting done at Virginia?
What exactly happened in Virginia? Could you explain, please, again?
Bernie Sanders, so there are 4 baseball teams from Congress. There's a Republican team from each body of House, Congress, and a Democrat team. They raise money every year by playing baseball. It's been going on since like the early 1900s, like 1903, 1905.
Yeah.
And a shooter appeared at the House Republican side with a high-powered rifle. Asked if they were Republicans or Democrats, and they answered Republicans. He started firing on them. And no one was killed, but they said that if the Capitol Police weren't there because the House Majority Whip was there, a high-value target,
So
that
he
they
was
would have all
shooting
died.
Congressmen.
Yeah, it was a killing field. They said without the policemen, they would have been dead.
He would have killed the
Jesus.
Republicans in Congress.
Yeah, and the only reason the policemen were there was because one of them was the Majority Whip in the House.
That's insane.
Nice going, Dems. Killing Republican congressmen because they're Republicans.
Well, it's not the
This is
Dems' fault. It's just
This is a
that
standard
one
crap.
crazy guy.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that...
The left has been justifying violence against conservatives for the last year or so now since Trump was president. Since Trump's been running, I mean, riots, protests, saying it's okay because he's a Nazi, but that's a loose definition of Nazi. I mean, as long as you justify violence against people, I mean, it's your fault.
So the suspect is dead.
Yeah, the suspect is not dead.
What?
The suspect was apprehended. He was not killed.
Oh,
I thought he was killed.
That was an early report that was later dismissed.
It says New York Times 5 minutes ago. Steve Scalise among 5 shot at baseball field. Suspect is dead.
that guy's pretty damn stupid.
Yeah. That's insane. So you asked what should be done? I mean, what should we do?
This is like our guns question for today.
Well, you asked us what should be done about what happened in Virginia. And I'm saying, what do you think should be done? Because I don't think anything should be done, really.
I'm double checking to see if you said real quick, so I'm gonna let you guys talk first.
Well, hold up, what type of rifle did he use? Great.
The semi-auto.
Oh, okay, then I don't think that, I don't think anything should be done, really, except, like, increase security on congressmen, I guess.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is a person's right to own a gun.
Yeah, so he was shot but taken to the hospital, the suspect. So he is still alive from what I know.
Okay.
But, so should we increase security around congressmen? Should we tell the left to, put their opinions up their ass and stop justifying violence? I mean, what's the response here?
The response should be that we need to quit. The left keeps intimidating the right by saying that, if you come out as right, you're gonna be...
Do you remember the guy right after the election who got, dragged out of his car in, Chicago, I think, and just got the shit beat out of him?
I know.
There's, a video.
He was
Yeah.
old. He was, 60.
he was like, yeah, he was an elderly gentleman, and he got attacked by like 4 younger dudes.
Woman got
And
attacked, like kids, like a high school girl got attacked.
some girl got attacked for wearing a "Make Bitcoin Great Again" hat.
Wow.
The radical left needs to stop with this freaking violence.
Well, I think that the radical left always intimidates the right and tries to silence them. But if the right were to just come out and like people like be okay with being right, and
Well, now like when people fight back, they're called Nazis. I mean, like hell, look at the Proud Boys. Look at the Proud Boys.
They should be ignored. It's as simple as that. Because
no, they shouldn't be ignored. They should be publicly just trashed.
Yeah, they should be publicly trashed, but it's not going to happen because the media keeps promoting this stuff.
So make your own.
Take a stand. Fight back to them. You know, that's why I'm saying they should be shamed. You're right.
Can we imprison the Berkeley mayor, like, for everything he's done?
I don't know. Is he
Sure.
Is he actually committed a crime?
Well, he's part of, by all means necessary, the violent wing of Antifa. Like the violent wing of the violent organization. He's told police to stand down and collect weapons from conservatives, but not liberals, at protests in Berkeley and ignore fighting.
Yeah, we should do something about him.
I would call that public mismanagement of safety, wrongful negligence.
You know, honestly, this kind of stuff is like the only reason I am glad that Trump's in the White House. Because if we had a Democrat in the White House,
it'd be a lot. It'd be hell worse. Well, would it be worse though? Because there'd be no main target. I mean, everyone hates Trump because he's apparently the devil.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a status, so I do dislike him, but he is good at some points.
So what's your question? Like, what are you asking?
What is the appropriate response from the public, the government, anyone? Should we increase gun restrictions? Should we decrease them? Because if they said that if any of them had guns, it'd be a lot more safe.
Well,
I mean,
congressmen aren't going to go around carrying guns.
Have you met Rand Paul or Ron Paul? Both of them.
Both libertarian.
Congressmen can carry around guns if they want to.
Yeah,
I mean,
they can't. Actually, in DC, like, guns are pretty much banned.
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
Like, one guy got arrested for, like, loading a shotgun in public. Against his protest. It was, I forget his name. Adam Kokesh, actually. He did that on the 4th of July as protest. And he got arrested and now has a patrol officer. He actually got a no-knock warrant, and his police entered his house in the middle of the night with a loud bang, kept his wife up, who was bleeding, let's just say that, from certain areas.
Oh.
And they made her wait like 3 hours and not let her use the restroom.
So the thing is about oh god, I just had a really good point. I just lost it.
Yeah, my rambling on the government's intrusion into personal lives and personal rights is
Waco siege. So after the Waco siege, a lot of militias formed to come.
Yes, as they should.
To combat government tyranny, but then after the Oklahoma City bombing, a lot of them disbanded. But I think we should kind of go back to that, like a lot of armed resistance movements, in response to the radical left.
We should.
Instead of the Waco siege this time.
I mean, hell, have you heard of the Proud Boys? Like, they're not even armed. They'll just wait into groups of Antifa members and beat the shit out of them and get arrested for it.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad what's happening on the left right now.
We need more base stick men.
They're not truly liberals, because what kind of liberal punches someone who disagrees with them and calls them a fascist? You know?
Yeah, I would say I'm extremely liberal in the classical sense.
Mm-hmm.
Libertarian.
Classical liberalism and libertarianism are basically cousins. Classical liberalism is just like libertarianism light.
So, what should we move on to? Guns. What?
I had a question.
Yeah, that's right.
How should the public be responding to? How should law enforcement be responding to? You know the picture of Kathy Griffin with the pictures.
Yes.
How should law enforcement react to that?
Well, that's technically a threat to kill the president, or it could be conceived that way. You can't even talk about killing the president and stuff. So she could be arrested, but I think if she got arrested,
Yeah, obviously it was a joke, so she shouldn't be arrested, but there should be active investigation into any threat like that.
Who joined?
Mm-hmm. Well,
He's not gonna talk unless
He's just listening, yeah.
okay.
So yeah, it could be she could totally be arrested, but I think if she was arrested, the public may start to side with her.
Yeah, legally she should be, but in the vest of the public interest and the rights of people, I'd say no, she should not be.
Now, I think that she should not be arrested, but obviously.
But the no platforming of her was the best reaction. I mean, remember, Kathy Griffin was the one that said that she would go after Barron Trump once Donald Trump won, and everyone remember that.
Oh yeah.
She made fun of Trump's son.
Yeah, she didn't make fun of him, but she said she would be, and I think she saw after that one girl that said that Barron Trump would be the first homeschool shooter. I think she learned to back off Barron, but the whole country's been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the left has gotten out of hand, honestly.
Let's make fun.
How about we just imprison all extreme leftists? How about we do that, right, guys? We can do that.
Right? Yeah. Did you guys see Boiler's proposed bill he put in the House room? It got struck down so quickly.
Oh, the one
anti-commune?
Yeah.
He asked if I would put it in the Senate, and I was like, no. I'd ever not.
Rather not.
I believe in individual rights.
Hey, who's the president of the Senate?
Sky. Oh yeah, civilized.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're not anymore because we have a VP. So
He's president pro tempore.
Yeah, you're just pro tempore.
Wait, didn't we pass something about the VP no longer being president of the Senate, though?
No,
Wait,
we didn't. It never passed.
Huh.
And I think that I was okay with making the VP president of the Senate when we split into House and Senate.
Yeah.
Like when it was only a Senate, I think that it should have had its own president. But when we came into a House, I don't think that was necessary. Anyways, back to...
Alright, how many drugs should be legalized?
Weed should be legalized, and the rest of the drugs...
Case by case.
Yeah, I can.
You guys are wrong.
Dealers should be imprisoned.
No.
Dealers should be imprisoned.
Wrong.
And other people should be faced with rehab.
Hey.
Wrong.
Well, dealers should only be imprisoned if they're giving out really harmful drugs.
Why is the state regulating morality? Drug use is just morality. Let people fuck themselves over, as long as they're adults.
Well, it's like killing people. And also, there's another
So,
issue.
alcohol kills people, tobacco kills people. Why is that legal?
There's another
Nicotine
issue
kills people.
Listen. There's another issue that kind of goes unheard of, is that in poor neighborhoods, drugs is the only economy they have.
Yeah, and prohibition doesn't work. It creates a taboo, which creates more usage. Look at this. Look at the statistic.
But it's their only economy. It would ruin their economy. Because...
You want to keep something illegal because if we legalized it, it would hurt the economy of the legal substances.
No, because it would hurt the economy of poor neighborhoods. I'm not saying that's the best reason to keep it illegal, but it's a point.
So we should deny people their rights under natural law to regulate what themselves
put
in their body.
Decriminalize it.
So we should force them into a government monopoly of rehabs. Is that what you're saying? Because if we just made every drug user go to rehab, there'd have to be a lot of government-sponsored rehabs.
Sure, that's fine, because they're still, the government's trying to...
So we point the hammer of oppression at the people because we don't do what they want, and then force them if they do what we don't want into going into rehab run by monopoly of the government. So the government has the monopoly of initiation of force. Is that what you're saying?
Why'd you leave?
laughed. No one laughed.
No, Civilized did for a second.
Yeah, you left for a second, but that's okay.
Basically, I said Free Thai is just an oppressive dictator.
Yeah, I'm a dictator.
Remember, democracy is dictatorship.
Democracy is dictatorship.
Democracy is two wolves voting on a sheep, and two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Liberty is a well-armed sheep.
How about you just have either the states decide or they hold a referendum?
How about we have a Ninth Amendment right to do as we will?
How about the states have the people vote on whether they want to legalize drugs or not?
So tyranny of majority?
That's kind of how democracy works.
Democracy doesn't work. Remember all those protests? This is what democracy should look like. No. So, because people don't... So, same with gay marriage. So, should gays not be married at, 1990s, 2000s?
No, I'm saying that you're... Okay, but drugs... You're putting something inside your body that could kill you.
Alcohol and tobacco.
Oh, so now we support both of those things now?
Well, it depends. Well, it depends obviously on the drugs.
So let's just illegalize plastic, because if you put plastic in your body, it will kill you. It can kill you.
That's not what's happening. They're highly addictive substances.
Oh,
so is alcohol and tobacco.
There's a form of heroin that...
We know that.
Yeah, we're not supporting alcohol and tobacco usage.
So by that logic, you should illegalize alcohol and tobacco. Let's just legalize everything that's addictive and harmful. Like coffee, gum.
Too much of everything can kill you.
We're not legalizing it. We're decriminalizing it.
So let's just decriminalize alcohol and tobacco, and let's make it so you have to go to rehab or pay fines to the government because they have a monopoly of force.
I don't even know
what alcohol do go to rehab.
I don't even know.
They're not forced to.
I don't even know what local's defending anymore.
I'm saying that we should have drug usage completely legalized because it's an individual's right.
An individual's right.
Yeah, this is not a state's issue. States don't already have enough powers as is. There's a mini oppressive federal government.
That's why I'm saying they should hold a referendum.
That's still a state. An individual is the smallest minority. And minorities should be granted rights, should they not?
Yes, minorities should be granted rights.
Yep.
But that's how voting works.
Really? Because I don't think that any of us ever agreed to the Constitution that granted the states the powers to do.
The presidential election,
Yes, I love Jeff Sessions and his willingness to crack down on the legal use of drugs. Or should be legal.
Listen, I'm going to go with Obama and Romney because Trump lost the top popular vote. So, you think Mitt Romney, he should just start his own country and or he should be president because even though he was in the minority.
No, but this is an individual's right.
I think that the majority who voted for the president are just totally oppressing the Mitt Romney supporters.
It's the government's right to have a president. It's not the government's right to decriminalize or legalize drugs.
But it is the government's right, or it is the people's rights to decide what happens in the government.
It's not the people's right to oppress others through the illegalization of drug usage.
Well, isn't that kind of what you're doing through electing presidents? You're oppressing the people who have different opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are, and I would love to live in an anarchist society. We both know that, but sadly, that's not the best case, and this won't happen.
What are you defending anymore?
Drug usage.
I don't even understand.
I don't understand.
Either way, we gotta stop the drug war.
How about we stop the drug war by legalizing all drugs? There we go.
Sure. Let's legalize all drugs.
Marijuana marijuana.
Marijuana legalwana?
Marijuana.
I thought that's what local said.
It is what I said.
I knew it.
Have you never heard that joke?
Just a fayi. We're about 10 minutes out from an hour.
Fayi? A fayi?
FYI.
Okay.
That's the gayest shit I've ever heard.
A fee? A fee? What is a fee? Ah. You know what? I don't even care. Let's just destroy.
Guns, TRA, I'm interested in what you have to say about guns.
I'm interested in what local has to say.
Well, I don't want to ban guns. I don't want to ban certain types of guns, and I don't want to place heavy restrictions on who can get a gun. I just want to make it so that criminals and the mentally insane can't get guns. That's
Well, you
that's
So
sound
all.
like
felons don't have the same rights as normal citizens? Is that what you're
No.
saying? We should not grant
Well,
them
they're
protection
felons,
of the law?
dude. They have a criminal record.
So tax evasion felons should not be allowed to own guns?
I'm going to
Case by
kill
case.
myself, local.
What?
I'm going to kill you and kill myself together. Like this. Okay, I understand that you're trying to defend liberty at its highest throne.
Do you guys want to hear my gun opinions?
No, we know what they are.
You might not.
Yes,
No
we
one
do.
should have guns.
Everyone should have guns and any type of gun.
Everyone should have
Yes.
grenade launchers.
Actually, yeah, I'd agree. As long as it's aimed at your gun.
So we
As long as it's
know.
not explosives.
No, I actually think anyone should be permitted the ability to buy a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
No, that's not a gun. I only believe in guns, not in advanced weapons.
Now, well, why don't we just take it one step further? Tanks, planes.
Tanks are legal.
Well, yeah,
Tanks are legal.
As long as
But
you
you can't
as
charge
long
them in
as
the
you
street
disable
if
the
they're loaded.
gun.
Exactly. If the gun.
Individual rights. Come
you have
on.
to get rid of the tracks so that it's just on wheels, and then you just have to disable the firing systems.
No, what if I want to shoot other people's stuff? I have the individual right to do
No.
that.
Therefore, you
No.
don't have the right.
You have to fill the barrel with like.
Can we just run our
concrete.
government based off the NAP, please?
The
So
MAP.
let's just say that a convicted.
Non-aggression principle.
Let's just say someone kills 20 people with a semi-automatic rifle.
Well, they're in jail for life.
Listen, let's just say by some miracle they get out of jail. Should they be allowed to buy a gun again?
Well, they
No.
probably escaped prison, so probably not.
Well, yeah.
No,
but
they
you're
definitely
saying
should
that
not be
felons
able to
don't
buy
have-
a gun.
you're saying that everyone.
If
should be
they
able to buy a gun,
violated the
so-
non-aggression principle by actually assaulting or harming a person physically, they should not be allowed to own a gun. But if it's things like theft, that does not have a weapon. Tax evasion, stupid shit like that, drug usage, they should be allowed to have a gun.
I would argue on drug usage.
Yeah, I would.
Well, I mean, we allow drinkers to own guns.
I don't think we should.
Well, you're a Nazi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, local.
Local, stop.
I'm joking. I don't think you're Nazi completely.
I'm a very libertarian, classical liberal Nazi. I'm not even. I'm a classical liberal national socialist.
Pretty sure those two things are oxymorons when together.
No, they're not actually.
Find me another libertarian-minded national socialist, and I will vote for a bill that you want to get passed.
Wait. Are you saying that you just are going to vote against every bill, even if it's not Nazi?
If you can find me a Nazi libertarian, I will vote for a bill as long as it isn't too bad if you pass it.
So what?
The Nazi libertarians.
So what if he starts to vote to abolish the state? Would you vote for it?
Of course.
Wait, you would be voting to destroy yourself.
Oh yeah, because you would be president, right? So you're gonna
Oh.
vote for president. You're gonna be abolished.
Oh no.
I would take that sacrifice.
I mean,
I will
what
remember
does government
you.
really do for us? Give us a
They oppress us.
to be poor,
They oppress us.
take our money so we can't give it to others.
Have you guys ever heard of Lysander Spooner?
The what?
Have you guys ever heard of Lysander Spooner?
The Sanders spinner. No.
Lysander Spooner, the person.
What is that?
Sanders Spooner.
What is that? Yes,
He is-
Sanders Spooner. Yes.
Sanders Spooner.
He was a 19th century abolitionist who argued that the Constitution isn't valid because of the amount of people that signed it. And since we do not sign it consistently, and there have been amendments added post signage, it's actually illegal, and we should abolish the state.
I like how the extra part at the end is just we should also abolish it.
Yeah, we should.
Well, he argued for that.
Well,
We should go back to the Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, we should.
Let's.
yes.
Yes. Actually, I like a federal military and not the federal right to levy taxes if it's not income taxes. So let's not.
Let's pay for our military with no taxes and just give the ability to have a militia to private enterprise.
I love private militias.
Oh my gosh! Private militias.
I want a public army, but I also like private militias.
I don't even know how you can think that.
Have you seen the modern left
Well,
in the reaction of police? Berkeley.
I'm not sure what this argument is because they're. I mean, in a sense, they're both state-run militias.
When the government refuses to protect its citizens, private militias must be formed.
I think that we should kill all radicals.
Sure.
Obviously. Sure.
No, we should kill all cops. We should just kill everyone who thinks different than us.
Yeah, let's do
Local.
it.
Local's the first to go.
Have you ever met a libertarian who can't fight?
What?
Have you ever met a libertarian who can't fight?
I've met a libertarian who can't fight, but I've never met a libertarian who doesn't have a gun.
Exactly.
America 29 has decided to join to listen.
Actually, I don't have a gun because I'm a minor, but I do want one as soon as I turn 18.
Whoa.
Oh,
The-
what was that door
whoa.
slamming, man?
I thought that was a gunshot from Local's room.
Shots fired at you.
It's probably his parents telling him to do his school.
I'm actually cleaning my car right now.
Oh. Parents had to shoot near you to make you do it? Tempt you?
Alright, local.
No, I left
know
the
you
other
said
room.
You can't be on every show, but honestly, I need you to be on every show.
I will try as hard as possible.
You better, or else you're not going to be on the show.
So if I don't show up to every show, you're gonna kick me off the show?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I'm signing a bill to do that.
This is not government run, therefore you
What?
can't. It's a government intrusion into a private
Stop.
organization.
Stop.
You
Stop.
fuck.
There's this thing called memes.
That is not a government run.
This is I am a meme in itself. Therefore, your argument is invalid.
I am a meme. What? Wait. What? Alright. Oh. What?
You're not a meme. You're a joke.
Memes are jokes.
You're not a funny joke though. You're a scary joke.
Scary joke. What is this? It's
Nazism.
What's our
Speaking of
podcast name?
Nazism.
The Unreasonables?
Yeah,
We're the Unreasonables.
I created the name.
I'm the reason though. Obviously.
Wait, just real quick.
Yeah.
You guys remember that story about the 4 neo-Nazis and one converted to Islam, killed the other 2?
What?
And then when they
Wait,
were
Islam is
investigating the
later.
house,
An Islamist
this was the
Nazi?
4 neo-Nazis.
Wait, what? Wait,
There was
what?
like 4 neo-Nazis in Florida, and then one converted to Islam, killed 2 of the other ones, and then whenever the police were investigating the house, they found that the 4th neo-Nazi was making a bomb with like radioactive materials, and he was planning an attack.
I kind of remember this, but I don't remember about the 4th one. I never heard about that.
Yeah,
Wait,
so then
so what
I guess the 4th one, he got released on bail.
Why the hell did we release a bomb maker on bail?
I don't know.
Isn't it the individual's right to create bombs?
A bomb is not used. Okay, here's the thing. If you put a bomb on your private property as defense mechanism, like a claymore, yes, that is your right, in my opinion.
Oh, that's murder.
It's defending your
Trespassers will be
property.
shot. Trespassers will be shot.
This is why I don't want a libertarian America, because it's just like you're gonna go into any neighborhood, it's just gonna be like
Afghanistan. It'll be
every
Afghanistan.
trespasser
Alright, guys.
will be shot, will be bombed. Every trespasser.
We're at an hour.
Trespass.
We're at an hour.
No, we're not leaving now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We can continue this without the podcast.
Oh, makes sense. If we're gonna do another hour, why don't we just do another podcast?
I mean, why don't we just keep doing the same podcast?
I mean, it's not like we're actually.
Well, the limit is 90 minutes. That's
it
the
is?
maximum.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
Dude, we'll do an extra 30.
Fine. We'll just start another podcast.
Yeah.
We'll just do 30 more.
30 more
more minutes.
podcasts.
30 more minutes right now.
Local, I thought you had to go to the pool in the afternoon.
My friends did not decide to go to the pool with me, so it's like, fuck that.
Well, it's kind of close to lunchtime for me, so I'm probably gonna have to eat soon.
Yeah, it's.
Fuck food. Food is for the weak.
Food is for the weak. This is your libertarian.
I haven't
Actually-
even eaten breakfast.
The joke was that I ate lunch before I came here, so actually it's kind of a trick on myself. You can hold it.
I
Eat a granola bar
eat
or some shit.
I didn't eat anything for breakfast, but right now it's 12:48, so probably like near 1 I'm gonna have a sandwich.
I just saw a great
So,
CNN article.
Local, will you be on the rest of the afternoon?
Depends when.
Depends when. The afternoon. The whole afternoon. You have to be on for the next 12
Well,
hours.
I say we break for approximately an hour.
Hey guys, can I just talk about the CNN article I just saw?
This article.
Sure.
It's just the headline. Chris Christie is now the most unpopular governor in 20 years in any state.
What? What happened?
What?
He has the lowest approval rating out of any governor of all 50 states in 20
I
years.
thought Chris Christie was pretty cool, pretty dope.
No, Chris Christie is a jackass.
Oh, he's a Jew? You.
Jackass.
I thought you said Jew. I genuinely thought you said
No. You would probably think that Jews and jackass mean the same thing, you Nazi.
Jew. I mean, not every Jew.
Not every Jew.
First they came for some of the Jews, then they came for all the Jews, then they came for the Germans, then they came for the Nazis.
Who?
Have you never heard the thing, like, first they came for the communists, but I wasn't a communist, first then they came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew.
Oh,
Then they came for me.
The Jews are communist.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
all Jews
Uh,
are automatically
My
communists.
friends always try to tell me that the Nazis were communist. I'm like, oh my.
What?
They're socialists.
They were national socialists.
They put the word national in front of it. That's how democratic socialism.
Completely different.
Democratic
Yeah, guys,
socialism.
it's democratic socialism.
Yeah, democratic socialism. He was
That's from
elected,
Prager.
so, to be fair,
He was never elected chancellor.
That's true.
And then he passed the Enabling Act.
Yeah, he was never actually elected to anything in not the German government. He was just appointed things by Hindenburg.
He was appointed chancellor, and then he passed the Enabling Act.
What's the Enabling Act again?
It allowed him to bypass the Constitution in order to fix Germany.
So the same thing that Donald Trump wants to do. He's going to make Germany great again.
What?
I
Make
wanna do
Germany
that.
great again. Make America Germany again?
Oh.
What?
Can we do that? Is that a thing that we can do?
Let's not. I'm a libertarian. Nazis don't like libertarians.
I don't think anyone likes Germans.
I said Nazis don't like
actually-
libertarians.
Well,
Nobody likes the French.
Nobody.
Nobody.
likes
True.
French.
nobody
Not even,
likes the
not even the French like the French. They voted for Macron.
They would rather be Algerians.
You pronounce it Macron?
Macron.
Fuck French.
Dude, that's
That's how
what
I
I'm
pronounce
saying.
it.
That's why we should,
Agreed.
yeah, that's why we
If
should.
you're a in that moment when you're a libertarian and you either have a communist or Le Pen to
No,
vote for,
listen. We round up the French and we shoot.
Actually, Le Pen was more socialist than Macron, but better for national security.
All right.
eh,
Can we cut off,
Anyway.
can we cut off this podcast now? We're past an hour.
Sure.
sure. All right, we'll just
Awesome.
meme. We'll just meme.
Hey, civilized, we can talk if you're not busy.
I'm not busy. I'm not doing anything. Someone's
This is
coming.
what I say. This is what I say. We take an hour break. We come back and we do another one.
I think
Alright.
civilized, I might just meme around.
All right. Everyone, be back here at 1.
Okay.
I'll try.
Eastern time?
At 1,
no,
it's
no,
12.
wait. 1 Central
It's-
Time. So 2 Eastern Time.
2
Okay.
Eastern time, alright.
All right, baby.
I'm gonna log off.
All right. See you guys.
See
I have
you.
to be somewhere. I
See ya.
have to leave my house at like 3:30, but okay.
Alright. We'll be done by
Near two.
3:30 AST.
Alright.
Alright.
Let's see.
The podcast
Say.
is done. Sayonara.
Just